Hey, and welcome back to a new video here on the Tradeciety YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about the Adx indicator. I want to show you what it does, how it is calculated, and also how you can use it in your own trading. So right now here we see the Adx at the bottom. There are three lines to this indicator. The black one is the actual Adx and it measures trend strength. So if you see that the Adx is going up, it means that the strength or the price is also seeing a strong trend. And also the Adx is not showing any directional information. So you can see here the Adx is going up and also is price. But if we go back and we look at the downtrend, so for example here the downtrend is clearly here and also the Adx is going up, which means that the downtrend was gaining strength and the Adx, the black line here, is not giving you any information about the direction, and it is just providing information about the strength of a trend. What is also important to know about the black Adx line is that most traders use a threshold, which is usually the 20 or the 25 level here. The original literature suggests that you use a 25 level here, and that then means if the Adx is below 25, you don't have a strong trend and you are more likely to be in a range, and if you are above 25, then you are in a strong trending market. But most recently traders start using the 20 level as the threshold because there's a lot of lag in the Adx. There is when you look at the calculations, the Adx uses smoothing, which means averaging out previous prices, and this then can create a lot of lag. So traders start to using the 20 instead of the 25, which provides more signals and is also a little bit earlier. So again, when we come back to this chart, we can see here, if we just look at the black line, that here the black line goes up and also the downtrend here is gaining strength. And you can see here the Adx is going down a little bit, and also the downtrend is not as strong anymore. You can see lots of green candles in between. The red bars are smaller. You have a more range in between. And then here the Adx, the black line, picks up again. You can see larger red bars. And then this means that the trend is gaining strength again. Here then the Adx is falling down. Again, we are just looking at the black line for now. We will get into the other ones later. And here the black line, the Adx, is falling below the 20 level, and as you can see here at the bottom there is this range market, lots of bars. We are just barely moving lower and not have a lot of directional impulses here. Then suddenly the Adx goes up very strongly, and this also coincides with this trending market. So we can mark this here, and you can see here the Adx breaks above 20. And when we look at the chart, this is then the area where price moved above the SMA as well and then started to trend higher. So the Adx could have given you a signal here for this long trend. And then here, once price made this top, then the Adx also leveled off and started to go down, and it broke here below the 20 level. And as you can see here again, this range market, no direction at all, just a lot of up and down, very small candles. And you can see the Adx is showing here the range market just until the trend is picking up again. A very strong Adx here. We can move the lines to see where the break of this Adx happened here, and we can see here we broke above the 20 line on the Adx. And then this also coincides with this pretty early stage in this long trend. And here then we leveled off. The trend to the upside was losing momentum. You can see here the Adx is just going flat, not have any more directional impulses. And then here it also started to go down. But what is interesting here is that the Adx leveled off from coming down very strongly, and then it even turned up. So when we look at what happens here is that this decline in the Adx was stopped by this very strong downtrend. So you can see when we just look at the Adx price, or the Adx went up with this strong uptrend, then it leveled off as the range was forming. It turned down here because this previous downtrend was losing strength, and then it started to level off and then rose here as this downtrend was unfolding. So you can see here that even though the ADX did not budge below 20 and it immediately stopped its downtrend on the ADX, it then leveled off, and this showed then here this strength. The next signal that we have, obviously you can see here the red and the green lines in the background, and they provide directional information about your trend and about the candles. And I prepared something here on the other chart. So here we just look at the DI plus and the DI minus. They are the exact same things from the regular ADX indicator, but to get a good understanding of what those two do, I changed the formatting a little bit, and so it becomes very obvious how those two are calculated. So it is important to understand that when we just look at the DI minus, which is the red one, and the DI plus, which is the green one, that they measure directional impulses, and they always compare two candles, and they always look at the absolute highest and absolute lowest price. So when we look at a few examples, you can see here those two bars. We can make a rectangle around so that it becomes obvious what we are talking about. So you can see here the high on this one was much higher, the low was also much higher than this low, and then we had a very strong green DI, sorry. And then when we move forward, you can see here that the high here was almost identical here on those two bars, but the low was a little bit lower on the red one. You can see here the low of this green previous bar. When we take out the moving average, it is just a little bit above this low, and we have a very small red one, because obviously the red in the red direction was a little bit, the bearish direction was a little bit stronger than the bearish one, than the bullish one. Here on the next one, when we move forward, you can see here that both the high and the low were both lower than the previous bar. And even though this bar looks weaker and it is not as big as this one, the ADX or the DI here is stronger. It is more red or higher red, because both the high and the low are outside of this one. If we look at another example here, for example, you can see that this long bearish bar, you can see both the low and the high are substantially lower than the previous high and the low of this candle, and so we get a very large red DI minus. And another important thing is that inside bars, such as this one here, you can see the high and the low of this one, it falls into the range of the previous bar, and such a candle is always shown by 0 DI minus or plus, so you don't have any values here. And this is what happens on all inside bars. Here's another example, very small inside bar, the high and the low both fall into this previous candle, and here we don't have a DI at all. So now when we come back to the regular ADX, we can see that when the green bar is rising above the red bar, then we have a very strong uptrend. And on the other hand, if we see here the red bar is coming above this green bar, we are in a very strong downtrend. And so there are two signals on the ADX indicator. The first one, as we discussed, is the break above this 20 period or this 20 level on the black ADX line, and the second signal is the crossover between the red and the green bars, or the DI plus and minus lines. So when we look at an example of the previous break here, you can see when we draw this line first for the break of the ADX line, you can see here it broke above the 20 line, the black one. And before that, we already see that the green is trending above the red one, which means that already here we have more bullish direction in the price candles. The bullish candles, they are closing higher, their highs are higher, and also their lows are higher, which is then represented by this green bar being above the red bar. And this is exactly how we came about this knowledge, by analyzing just candle by candle with the DI plus and minus. So you can see here when the green is above the red, It means the highs of the bullish bars are higher than the red ones, and also the lows are higher. And we can already see that because here price started to move higher. Although this is a very slow uptrend, it is more a range here when we look at the overall picture. But nevertheless, in this range, the highs and the lows were already trending a little bit higher. So this was one clue that price was already heading into the direction upwards. And then with the final break of the 20 level here on the ADX, this was confirmed and could have given you an entry signal. And this is how you would generally use this information. So we can take a look at another one. Here we have this break again, as we analyzed previously. The ADX breaks above the 20 line. Here we are already in this downtrend. Still a lot room to go, but if we look at here, then you can see that the red line broke above the green line already here previously. And what we see here is that here price started already moving lower. And when we move this line, or let's take another one. So when we look at where the red line crossed, then we can see this happened here. Oops. This happened here. So let's make this red for once. And then you can see here that price started moving down already here. Price was making lower lows and lower highs, which means that the red one is gaining strength and the green one is losing strength. And then here with this big drop in this candle, we saw the big shift in the ADX as well, or in the DI. And then here price and the ADX gave this very nice signal together. And that's basically how you would use the ADX and also the DI plus and minus lines. The ADX is a good indicator. You should probably not use it by itself. Moving averages on your price chart are usually a very good addition to it, as well as other support and resistance principles, just analyzing how highs and lows form, and also looking at individual momentum information. And I hope you liked the video. If you did, just give me a thumbs up, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment below this video, and I'm very happy to help you out.